Good morning. We're here with Josh,
Morning.
and we're at your studio. We're at Josh.
We're in Santa Fe. That's where the studio is. You're all invited to come if you like, if you're in the neighborhood.
And we're going to be talking today about Portraits Commission. And I want to talk about your latest. You want to talk about that one?
Oh, my latest portrait? Well, it has to be back. It must be Loki right here. Loki was a fun one to do. And yeah, this is, came out really well. Just a very happy dog.
And how did you get into Portrait Commission?
Well, it was a while back when I was living in New Jersey. And I didn't have anything advertised in portrait commissions, but I know somebody, and it usually comes up to me and saying, "Hey, do you do dogs? Do you do pets?" And I said, "Sure." As an artist, I've done them before many times, but at that point, maybe 5 years ago, I wasn't doing too many of them. I was more focused on landscapes at the time. And so when someone asked, I said, "Sure, let me see what I can do." And it turned out they love it, and I was like, "Oh, great!" And it gives me the motivation and confidence to do more. And so eventually, I made Dee Dee right over here, and started bringing Dee Dee along with me to show people what I could do. And yes, and that's where it started. You know, one thing starts after another. Then someone refers me to somebody else and saying, "Hey, you have a dog. Why don't you get a portrait done?" And yes, so in this digital age where everything's very instant, I still love doing the old masters' way of doing things. I like to immortalize them through real oil paint and using my real hands. And so it's really fun and gratifying to do. So I never look back. I enjoy them very much.
And how do you get most of your inspiration? Is it photographs? Do the pets sit in front of you? Mostly
from photographs. Most people who ask me are not usually within like 50 miles of me. But it's okay because I would have to go to their house and take pictures anyway. Very difficult to do a pet. They can't stand still for more than a second because they're pets, they're animals. But I would love to meet them in person, of course. That adds to the experience and it gives me a lot of data, so I know exactly, their personality and how I go about painting them.
I see. And what kind of brushes do you use, or does it matter?
Well, I love to use really high quality brushes. Nothing from possible a craft store. You want to get the best brushes you can possibly afford. And for me, that's personally like bristle brushes, sable brushes, like small, large, a variety of brushes. Everything is a tool, and you have to know how your brushes will behave and how your paints behave as well. And so once you do that, then it makes your job a lot easier and you'll have better results.
I see that you have dogs here, but do you paint other animals as well?
Yes, I've done cats. I've done birds. Yes, I would love to do all kinds of animals. Someone brought a cougar. I'd say like, "Hey, can you do this?" Sure. How could I say no? But yeah, nothing is too obscure for me. I'll paint anything. If there was a guy with a parrot on his shoulder, and believe me, when I was in Portugal, I've seen a few of that. I would sure love to do something like that too. So yeah, it just makes everything really cool, and that's part of people's lives. If the pet's part of their life, yeah, I want to make the pets just as important as another human being would be. So.
I noticed the difference between Dee Dee's size and Loki's size. Is there a preference?
No preference. I think the larger I work, the better I enjoy, just because there's more I can do with it. There's more detail I can put in there. If I did Loki at an 8x10 size, it would be on a lot smaller level. You wouldn't see the details as much, if any. It's just that, size matters. And personally, I think of, let me retrain my thoughts here. Some of the more common sizes, 9x12, 11x14 sizes. This is a 12x16. I like that. I enjoy that size as well. And there's more you can do with it.
What's the size of Dee Dee right now? What's her size?
Dee Dee is 8x10. And that one I would just suggest just a headshot, not like a full body. That's all there is room for. And that's, some people, that's good enough, and that's fine. What I'm worried about is that if they ask for a full size, everything's going to be on a smaller level, and especially if you're hanging it up into someone's house, you're not going to see the whole thing as much. You'll have to get up and go up close to see it. But personally, I would rather sit on a couch and see the picture at a good size. You don't have to squint like, oh, I know who that dog is. So that's important for me.
Well, I see that you captured both of their personalities. Loki, he looks like a little goofball. He looks like very funny dog.
Yes.
Dee Dee looks very happy, like her smile. I don't know if she's a boy or a girl, but by the name Dee Dee, I'm assuming it's a girl.
I think it is a girl.
I see on your website that you're doing people portraits.
Yes.
And how did you learn the technique? Because I know people, skin is different than fur.
Yeah, well, people portraits are obviously very different because different skin tones and everything. And however, they both have a soul, they both have an essence to capture, and that's important. Technique is important, but if you have the technique without the soul and the essence of it, then it just becomes stoic, like a tin man of a person. You want something with life in it, and that was always one of my favorite comments from people, like, oh, you really brought out the essence, the personality, and they talk the same way about their pets as if they are human. And in a lot of ways, I feel like people look at their pets and up to a point, like in a human way, because they also have similar emotions like humans do. And so I look at his pets as humans almost just about on the same level. They both talk, just different languages. But I treat them both with the dignity and respect they both deserve.
And when you do people, do you need to have them in studio for them to sit for hours, or do you prefer a photograph, or how would you work on that?
Well, I've always done with photos. Photos are the easiest way to do it, and just because of the time restraints, sometimes it would take a lot longer. I haven't done someone from a beginning to end. Because that would take that, and that's the old way of doing it. And believe me, that would be the best way. Because imagine not doing a photograph and you do the entire person, like from beginning to end. But they would have to come in many different sessions to do it. Maybe like 2 hours at a time. And if the average person can't really sit still for more than 10, 15 minutes at a time, it's really difficult. Just try it. But yes, if somebody is willing to do that, I would definitely be up for it. Because I think that's just amazing, noble. I mean, that would just be incredible to do.
And that can happen in your studio, correct?
Oh, correct. Absolutely, yes. So I will be open to that suggestion as well. And there could be a mixture of it. There could be a mixture of photographs as well as live sitting.